right now. So we are technically live, but if people show up, I might invite some more people in just so it's more fun. Ooh, and of
I
course
forgot.
I'm not even remotely muted for my own stream because I don't do
I
that.
also forgot to.
It's okay. I always
Oh,
forget.
I even forgot to mute the media.
I always forget. It's just it's like it's programmed into me at this point. I'm just going to chill a little bit. I should have done that beforehand, but I opted not to do that on Twitter because right now Twitter, for me, that's a good way to get my channel destroyed. So even if people would watch it, it's a good way to get my channel destroyed because Twitter and this topic is probably on the SmackDown.
Yeah, Twitter have their biases.
They do, and I don't trust any paid for media. And I know that they don't play themselves off as media, but I'm treating them like a media because they will do that. So you know what? I just gotta respect that those are their rules, and you know what? If you want to play the game, you got to play the game. So I can still shill my stuff for games. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'll still use it for that. But
Oh, I need to figure out. I need to try sometime to actually stream Minecraft to my YouTube. But
it's fun. I mean, it's a good community on there. But you have to do it all the time to really pick up with the community.
I try to hit Fallout New Vegas twice a week, but I keep forgetting. But yeah, I've been deep into the Minecraft, and not just any Minecraft, modded.
Mods are fun. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, some of them do destroy your game, but like some of them just to explore. I've been doing that with different games. Like, I've done it with Stardew quite a bit. I've got a mod on there that allows me to grow pot, and I figured it was appropriate because I live in Canada. So why wouldn't you build a farm for pot since it's legal now? But I haven't really. I have to get some other games to play. Like I was playing Ark for a little bit there, and it was running smoothly. But the thing with me on Ark streams is I only really have like a week before I can't play it anymore because if I'm playing on an open server, once after that week is done, everyone is built just enough that I can't run it anymore. Like it just I freeze and glitch too much, and then my computer
Oh yeah,
crashes. So so that was fun. I mean, I still like the game, but it's just it's my computer can't handle the overload of heavy builds on it. So I have to restrict myself to the first week, and then whatever I do on single player. Because one person building by myself, I kind of spread it out, so my builds aren't like so intense, and I don't have so much stuff on the go. So it's not so bad for me to play it on my own, but it makes it boring. It really does.
I
Uh,
try.
mhm.
I try to stay as compact as possible, which with the all the different machines that need electricity in Minecraft that I have, uh, it doesn't look too good, but it's space saving.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically it. Like, I mean, that's one of the things that I do want to play a little bit more Stardew, not Stardew, Minecraft at some point. It's just like I said, it's one of those things where I have to have the right group of people because I find that one, um, I have a weird tendency to either get into castle builds, which is fine because it triggers that little bit of autism in me that likes to OCD it. Um, or I just want to fuck around in the game, which is just play with the graphics and like I don't understand all the mechanics, but I like exploring it, you know. Um, and I mean that can be interesting, but I like to do it for bad reasons. I don't like to do it for good reasons. I like to do it to screw with people because it's funny.
Yeah, and hello, Arms Killer.
Hi, Arms Killer. Do you want to join us? I was looking for people to join because I am a little bit ranty. I don't have all the articles. I'm not as put together as Blind Girl when it comes to doing her streams. But I'm feeling a little bit disappointed in my country. It's the whole going Canis Walian of us. That's my joke of the day. That's my joke of
Although
the day.
apparently, if you call the animal shelter and ask them how many emergency rations they have, they hang up on you fast and block your number.
Okay, I got you a link, so just hopefully it'll work because I had some issues the last couple of nights, and I think it has to do with our modem because it's to do with our internet connection. So like we're fine for our bills, and our internet's supposed to be pretty good for. We pay too much for it, but it's still pretty good for what we've got. I blame all of my computer problems on my computer because it's old and I probably have too much on it, and there's probably stuff that I need to fix internally that I just don't have the equipment for or the know-how to do. Like I can clean it to a
Same.
I can clean it to a certain point, but I know that there's things that I could probably do to optimize it. I just don't know how. My brother does have some friends who are willing to help. It's just they work, so it's finding time for them to come over and take a look at it without it having to be they have to kidnap my computer for a week because I would go a little bit mental without my computer for a week. I have a pad, but I'm limited on that pad, very limited.
I
Um,
think I kind of over upgraded the RAM
Better
because
check.
that's the only thing I could upgrade. I don't have the know how of soldering to unsolder and resolder in a processor.
Yeah,
Anytime
yeah. Go
anytime
ahead.
I've soldered something, it ends up looking like crap, and the only thing I've successfully soldered is two wires together.
Yeah, one of the guys that I was talking to was talking about the thermal jelly that's supposed to help connect like your motherboard, things like that. Because a lot of my problems is like my computer does overheat. And I mean, some of that, like I said, has to do with proper cleaning. So, like, I do have to make it a point to clean my computer every month on time. Like, if I'm a little bit late, which I was late last time, and that was I blame it on the atmosphere of where I live because I really couldn't open my window to do it. And my apartment is legit too small for me to do it and do it efficiently and have it affect anything because I would be cleaning it, vacuuming it, and then turning in my on my computer and sucking it all back in because my computer, like my apartment's all rug, old rug, crappy rug.
Oh,
Um, and if you open the windows to clean it outside, well, it's moist because it's off and on snowing and then melting and then snowing and then melting, and it's weird like that.
we got a grand total of 6 inches today.
Did you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
everyone's
like
actually. Oh, there he is. Okay.
the light fluffy snow, so it's not bad.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind the snow we've had lately. It's just it's like I said, it's the melting thing. Because it's not cold enough to really hold. It melts so quickly that it just turns into ice, and then for the next 2 days, you're just walking on slowly melting ice. Uh, Which I mean, like there are tricks to that. Like you could put rocks on it, which they don't like to do because that's bad for the river. It really is bad for the river.
Yeah.
It's salt, and no one really wants to do salt because salt is bad for the environment. And then chemicals, which is also bad for the environment. So
Uh,
Yeah, you're kind of fucked with
I
that
like
paddle.
to
yeah,
I like to point out if you want to get autistic about it, technically water is a chemical
yeah,
because chemicals are just two elements combined.
pretty much. I mean, that's what the salt is. It just it causes the snow to heat up.
Salt is an interesting one. Sodium on its own it explodes when it touches water, and chlorine is none too good for you to breathe in. Uh, so both are poisonous, yet you mix them together and they bond, and you need it.
Yeah. Yeah, the things we find out afterwards. There are some things that people do. Like the thing is our neighbors who used to do it for us. They've moved, which I'm not surprised because a lot of people are moving. It's not a cheap place to live right now. Um, and a lot of people are just like, well, if I can't afford to live here, and Canada is shown that it can't handle economics at all. they're moving to they're going south, guys. They're heading towards you guys, and at least you're getting the ones that understand business. You know, you're getting the good guys. We're stuck with the loonies up here. Um,
Was that a 1 cent or $1 coin?
yeah, yeah.
So the Canadians or Canada's having a bit of a brain drain.
Oh yes, that's the problem. It is absolutely the brain drain, and uh, the guys cheering for it don't understand what they're setting us up for, and this is why I've been like the last couple days I've been doom and gloom and like on monkey streams. I'm like, if you guys vote for Bernier, he's gonna be like, hey Trudeau, hold my keg.
Yeah. Freaking.
Because that's what's going to happen. And I'm not meaning to be doom and gloom. It's just it's the truth of the matter is he's destroyed a lot of industry for the next 20 years, if not more. And that's going to be really damaging for not just the next generation, but the next several generations.
Didn't a company tied to him get away with like major violations, but he
Yes.
swept it under the rug?
Yep.
I'm
Because
pretty
it's
sure
bad.
he's committed a few crimes himself.
He sure has. And he's going to get away with it because he wants that UN seat. You know.
Yeah, just because he speaks the right things, his bad behavior is good.
Mm-hmm.
Trudeau's just your typical corrupt prime minister.
Yeah, he is corrupt. He is a psychopath. That's what we've been saying lately. Is he's a psychopath? Because how can you do all of these things and still be like, oh, it's for the betterment of all? It's not for the betterment of all, because you would be walking the walk and not just talking about it. Hey, Scotty. Hey, all you need.
Oh,
And
hello.
yes, we are all you need.
Yeah, we're talking
Yeah,
about
Trudeau.
I broke down. It was just like, I'm not pressuring Functional to join us. Like he said he wasn't feeling so good, and he's probably got a hell of a lot more to say than me, because he actually holds on to the articles. I just read them and fume and then just pretend like I didn't read it. Because if I dwell on it for too long, it's just I don't want to be a manic depressive, you know. I'm a genuinely happy person. It's not in my nature to be. It's in my nature to be frustrated and angry a little bit, I think, is what should be natural. But like I said, I'm not in a bad shape right now, but there are a lot of people who are, and that makes me frustrated because I can't help them either. So, yeah. But at least you're in the chat. I mean, you can pull up points, because I don't want to just go in circles. Like I could focus on the blockades. Like, I mean, the idiots in your province that, like, Blonde Girl said that her brother could smell the tires from like 2 hours away from his town. You know, in the name of the climate, we're gonna burn the tires of peace.
Oh, that's
Yeah, in
something.
the name of the environment, we're just gonna, spew a bunch of chemicals in the air.
I
How
mean,
smart.
like isn't that like the only thing going through my mind is like, that's poisonous, isn't it? Like, burning tire is poisonous for people.
I'm fairly sure. Yeah, exactly. The chemicals used for tires aren't exactly the most breathable.
Yes, for the sake of the next generation, let's give them some cancer polluting air to breathe in for the next couple hours, for the next 24 hours. That's just a great idea, guys. That's going to solve the problems. And then on top of it, like I said, like it is exaggerated, the empty shelves thing, you know. Keon was posting that stuff, and I am going to say, like, I don't doubt that there are probably some towns further up north who probably do have some empty shelves, because you need to get them up there. We do have trucks that do that. It's not just via train. The trains are just faster. Like, it gets it to the point, and the trucks pick them up, and then they go. I just don't know where all the blockades are, and that's the problem, because our media isn't reporting that. I have no idea where people are suffering, and I live in a province where I know it's going to happen. And all they're doing is they're really pissing off people. If you want to piss off people who are already pissed off, take away their food for a couple weeks and make them feel scared.
I think that's going to piss off anyone, really.
That would piss off anyone. And they're not winning any seats by doing that. They look terrible on the world scale. As far as I don't know how they are doing that and not thinking they don't look terrible. But the people cheering them on think that they're great. And I don't understand how can you cheer for something like that?
It's
You know, and I feel so bad for all the people we've brought into this country, because like that's $70 billion that's not going to go towards them either. You know, they've invested in coming here. There are people who started businesses here that I support coming here because they came here legally. They've started their own businesses. They're doing well. Thank God we're supporting them to the best of our abilities because they're good people. But
you
they're
go on.
well, sorry, like everything's going to go up for them too. You know, like everything's going to go up for them. And it's not just them, it's our politicians here. Like I don't trust anybody right now.
I think what I was going to say about how anyone can endorse some of the bullshit that's occurred.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens when you dehumanize people that much.
Yeah.
When you look at when you look at the general population and think they're scum rather than they're human beings.
Yes. Who all have their own problems and things that they're dealing with. And, you know, it's one thing at a time. You know, everyone individually, you know, everything's approached differently. And they're treating us as a lump sum. And they're burning bridges. And it's not just with us. Like, they're burning bridges with, like, the international community.
The reality of it all is to treat everyone as a lump sum is the easiest solution for a government.
Like an example right now is looking at India. Like, look at how India greeted Trump. And I don't have a problem with it. I thought the Macho Man thing was great. Like, good for you, India. You know, and it looked like they all enjoyed the visit. Like, between both communities, it seemed like it went well. And then you look at our guy, and he's a joke. He shows up and they're just like, don't take this guy seriously, because he doesn't even take us seriously.
I would say Trump is in no way my ideal of a macho man, but
No.
when compared to Trudeau, Trump is like
That's
one of
the
those
thing.
Greek Adonises.
I think that's what everyone's been saying for the past 4 years. Trump is not ideal, and he's never really been the ideal, but he's better than the alternative.
He is.
The candidate that basically has murdered anyone who tried to come out against her. Hashtag not sad.
There's
Hashtag-
a reason why
Hashtag not sad.
information on the Clintons is a joke. You know?
And for the record, I am not sad. I am frustrated. I'm frustrated, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with expressing that, because
If I am dead the next day, assume foul play.
yeah, exactly.
Stop playing with chickens then.
Yeah, frustration doesn't
about that,
mean that I'm leading myself down to a dark path. I'm not going to go out and start picketing. You know, I am watching the ones who are, but like I said, everything they're doing leads to what I can see as being vigilante on the other side, because at this point they have nothing to lose. They are taking away everything from my province, one thing after another. And it's not just my province, it's everywhere. And the people who are feeling disenfranchised are getting to a point where I think some people are starting to feel like they have nothing to lose. That is not a good place to be.
Also, Scotsman gets it. Scotsman gets it.
You do. Do you want to come on? Do you want to come on, Scotty? I don't mind bringing. I've been on yours a couple times.
But I think it isn't the whole taxing the certain provinces for this shit in the first place like highly illegal in the first place?
Well, the one good news that we had yesterday was the ruling for the carbon tax was seen as unconstitutional. And it is, because it's the federal government pushing a law on us that we do not want. They actually don't have the power to do that. So what and this might be a double-edged sword for Kenny, is he set something up today, and I actually have to check if I can find that. I don't think I'll be able to though, because like I said, everything's been kind of crazy. But as of now, we can vote for a recession in our province, to vote for things that we want changed in our province, and this is for Alberta right now. So I don't know what that means. Because they just said it today and nobody's known about it. Like I'm pretty sure I haven't heard anything really concrete about it, other than the video from Jason Kenney. It should have been on CBC. It should be on CTV, and I've only seen it from the Rebel and from the Conservatives. I can't repost that. I would like to repost that. I don't know if you've seen it. Oh gosh, let me see if I can find it. Goodness. Like I said, things are getting heated up here, and I don't know where it's all going. It's one of those things where I'm so confused. My dad's been on holiday for the last 2 weeks too, and I'm just like, I don't blame you, Dad. Can we just find somewhere and make it remote and say fuck it to Canada? But no, that's not going to happen. Goodness, what's this?
Oh, have you seen that thing going around that someone did the math on Bernie's whole plan for healthcare for who wants it?
I wouldn't be surprised. What came out for it?
Basically the tax, meaning that anyone who makes a certain amount of money gets basically taxed 50%. But he wants minimum wage to be $15 an hour, which means you'd be making more than everyone would be making more than that threshold, which then means basically everyone's making $7 an hour anyway, which is what it's at now.
Wow, they actually even had some people doing this in Toronto. You want to start up the trains in Toronto? Good for you. Good for you. Okay, you go ahead and you guys do that. Just wait until people start coming down and beating the shit out of you who are just sick of it. Listen, Toronto might be like one of the headquarters of SJW Central. That doesn't mean that people don't own or run businesses down there who don't need that shit to come in for their stuff to run. Even your hippie bars need shit. Just saying.
How are you supposed to get the micro-brewed, like, beer?
Uber coffee.
Yeah.
The thing is when it comes
Not the
to
percent. I don't know what it. I don't know the wording for it. It was something to do with starting a secession is what it's for. I can't find the article, unfortunately. Go ahead.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Sorry.
No problem. I do that very often. It's just a me thing. Don't worry about it.
It's just Twitter, like you go to look for one article and then you find like 10 others that are just distracting you on like what it is that you're looking for, and you're like, that was really important information. Why the hell didn't you save it? You know what made me?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Since when do we expect these people to actually think about the consequences of their actions? The only people that ever actually consider and understand that shit are the people highest in that food chain. So, the politicians, the government understand that. But when it comes to the lower, smaller fish, they don't know shit. And that's sort of the problem here. It's like, it's going back to the idea of the useful idiot. I'm feeling cricket legs rubbing.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. It's just they're really burning a lot of bridges, and the thing is they're forming new groups is what they're doing. And the thing is they think that they're pitting the natives against us. I'm like, no, I just watched a native guy rant to one of these crazy protesters about how they are destroying industry that they desperately need. They desperately need it because they're trying to improve the lives of their children, of the people around them, to lift up their communities from poverty. They don't want to be living under handouts anymore. They want to have their own ability to take their own lives under control. And the thing is they have these chiefs who are getting money under the table to do this shit. Who
That's
don't,
always that's
you know,
always the case. It was the
eh,
case for Brexit. It was the case for it was the case for the Hillary Clinton campaign. They're always having money under the table for
th- th-
unfavorable decisions.
this has happened so many times. And the thing is that they are forgetting is what they are doing is it's going to be 8 guys going away with a shit ton of money. And their families will be great, but everyone else in their community will get nothing. And they will be straight where they are before, having problems with opioids, having problems with, they have problems in their community, they have a lot of serious problems in their communities that they're trying to deal with, like mental illness, like, a lot of the Native women that have gone missing, well, they found out what happened. Well, it was, they got murdered by family members. They got murdered by husbands. They got murdered by acquaintances. And it's all to do with depression and drugs and alcoholism.
Weren't they saying that all the natives getting married, like disappearing, is a racist problem?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what they were saying. And I've been calling it for years. I'm like, they've had issues in their communities for ages because they talk about it all the time.
This is exactly it. They want to address these faux issues, these non-issues and shit.
Mhm.
But when it comes to the real problems, they don't want to touch it with a barge pole.
The thing is the ones who want something done are the ones who don't get hurt. They do not get hurt. They get these crazies in who are like, oh, if we do not stop the pipeline, we'll never see the bear again. And I'm like, you realize that the pipes go under the ground. They go under the city roads. It goes under the football field.
And even then, again, more environmentally viable than using a fucking truck.
Or a train. Or a boat.
Or like any other method of transportation.
Pretty much.
Until we could figure out teleportation, a pipeline is actually the best way around it.
It's just, and they don't understand that, like, everywhere that this stuff has happened, they've fixed it up better than it was before they came in. And a lot of it's just like I said, the irony of the irony. You've got groups burning tires. They're not the only ones doing stupid shit like that. Some of the trains that have had accidents. Oh, those aren't accidents. I'm sorry, I'm calling it now. And the worst thing that they could have happen is the police do nothing.
How can they expect the rule of law to occur when they cannot enforce the law?
Yeah. And it's just I've lost a lot of faith in a lot of people in my country. It's just common sense people. I understand you have to do your job, but there comes a point when you have to be like, okay, there's something really wrong here, and it's unconstitutional. And it's fine. We'll be fine. It's like I said, it's one of those things where I'm probably going to have a chat with my dad on what he thinks about the future, because he's lived in Canada his whole life. He's lived through the first Trudeau. He hates politics, but I know him well enough to know that he's been watching things with an eye. And I'm lucky enough to have one of those people in my life who can, like, see a situation, map it out, and be like, okay, this is what we're going to start doing, Jen, because things are that bad. I don't know that they've gotten that bad yet. He hasn't been that excited. So, I do know that the media does hype it up and people do hype it up, but I am watching them like a hawk because I see a lot of flags, and flags aren't wrong.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, Functional said somebody piled up wooden pallets on a rail line this morning near one of the blockades. It's obviously protesters. Could have been a major incident, but it wasn't, thankfully. Don't need them derailing. Yeah, no worries. You just listen. Like, take it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, take
I
it easy.
appreciate that. I appreciate that you're throwing things out there because, like I said, I've been reading stuff and then walking away for a bit and pretending like I didn't. Not because I don't care, but because if I were to focus on it, I'm going to become a manic depressive or like just.
Hey,
And
Owen.
that's not helpful. That's not helpful in this situation. But this little rant is making me feel a lot better because I got you guys to like joke with me.
I think what's happening in Canada,
Uh-huh.
what I think what's about to happen,
Mhm.
personally, I think it's gonna happen. What's gonna happen is there's gonna be a counter protest or something, like in France and like in Germany, where because of all the bullshit that's actually happening, people get sick of it
Mhm.
and want change. Now, as to whether or not the government listens, is a different question. It's a different story. But I think what they're going to do is eventually people are going to get sick of their shit.
Mhm. It's already kind of happened, like with the guys who took apart the demonstrators' stuff and started hauling it off, which they didn't harm anybody. You know, I mean, I don't doubt that words were said in anger, but they didn't harm anybody. They just removed stuff because they want to get to work. You know, they
Yeah.
want to get people to work. People are losing their jobs left, right, and center, and it is a scary place to be right now because if you have a job, you are saving everything. You are packing away a little bit. I'm not saying people are stocking up on food, but I wouldn't be surprised if there weren't some people who were just because they could be next to lose their job.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you know, the last thing they want is some random wanker on the street blocking their way. And these people have probably specifically planned their road journeys this certain way because they know they're going to be on time, or they might have to go through traffic. So that random cunt on the road is a spanner in their plan already that they've probably been doing for months, if not years. It's for them, it's not just they could lose their job. It's you're fucking with my flow. That could be an autism thing, but you know.
But it's not just that. Like I said, like right now I'm in a place where I'm okay. But I'm thinking about those little towns who, like, it's been 2 weeks since they've had shipments in. You know, there are places that take months to get their shipments in. So those little derailments for 2 weeks means that they have to go longer without. And I'm not talking about Calgary or Edmonton. Edmonton and Calgary are fine. We are close enough to the border where a truck is just fine. You know, um, but I'm looking at the little towns up north who don't have that. You know, I'm looking at the Yukon and I'm looking at Yellowknife and I'm looking at certain parts of BC. And yeah, if you guys want to go hungry for a couple months in BC, maybe you'll be fine. I mean, it's almost spring, you know. Maybe you can live off of the greens that are going to crop up. Oh wait, no, it's not that time yet. Um, but that's where my mind is. And yeah, it goes across Canada. It goes to Manitoba. It goes to Ontario. It goes to, like, there are a lot of places that are going to be screwed up because of this. And it's going to get worse because our police isn't doing anything. And as far as Trudeau is concerned, he might as well be banging the drums. He is underhandedly banging the drums, and it's tearing a lot of people apart. I don't hate the natives. I think the natives who are behind this are doing it for ignorant reasons, and I think they need to take a step back and think: are you really doing this for the environment? Because we could be getting China off of coal. You know, kind of like what the U.S. is doing for India right now. Why do you know why India is cheering for the U.S. right now? Because they're helping to try to get them up off of poverty, and they're trying to help clean them up. They actually are. I'd like to do that for China. I mean, yes, China is an evil place. I do not like their government. I think they do horrible things to their people.
And exactly there's the difference between their government and the people of China.
But
I
I
think
would love to see China do better with their environment, because I think that they deserve better, and I think they're really good people, and I think they're smart. I think they offer a lot to the world, and I'd like to see them live healthy lives in the place that they live.
Yeah, there's something the left like to ignore. They say that Trump has concentration camps on the border, but ignore the actual concentration camps Muslims are in over in China.
yeah, that's exactly it. They'll call Trump fucking Islamophobic, but then look at I forget the Uyghur population of China.
Mhm.
They're getting fucked.
Yeah, they are. It's like when you're that's what they've done to us, Western countries. It's not just us. They've done it to you. They've done it to the US. And yes, I know England has its past. I'm not saying you directly, arms killer, but you kind of are our representative because of your accent.
Yeah, just the accent.
Just the accent.
Not the bloodline. No, just the accent.
Just the accent. But unfortunately,
the nationality. Yeah.
I don't have visuals to work with, it's a little harder to determine.
Well, let's just say I look like a Caucasian dude, so
Yeah, but
so you could very much assume.
But here's the thing. I'm not a racist. I have a tendency to go with bone structure before I go with skin tones, because you know what has always fucked me up is skin tones. Because a lot of us share skin tones, but you know what? A lot of us share bone structure too, and it's a little bit more honest. But we're all humans. It's how you can tell with the bone structure, because there's a lot of blending there too.
Yeah, it's ethnicity versus race, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like ethnicity.
Do you know who gets treated the worst in white countries? White people who don't sound like they speak the same language. Because all bets are off with those guys. I hate to break it to you, SJWs. Just saying, I've seen it happen, and I call it out because I have a justice bone for that kind of thing. I don't believe in treating people badly because they don't sound like I do. I believe in treating people badly because they're treating me badly.
Yeah.
That's my rule of thumb. But I've seen people be absolutely trashy to people who are foreign because sometimes they don't know any better, or maybe they misunderstood something, maybe they misread a sign, or culturally we're still different. We're still different.
Go into Eastern Europe, and that's where you'll probably find most of the racism in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even saying, only a small. No, most of the racism is probably occurring from Eastern European countries.
Not
either that being Russian or Turkish.
There was that ghetto chick that beat down a white woman because she hates whites. So what about that racism?
Yeah.
It's everyone has the ability to be like that. It's because we do function like that. Not everybody is like that. Like I think for me it's more of just, I don't know if it's autism. It's like I keep coming back to that, but it's my way of learning to grow as a child was really reading facial expressions, because I didn't like listening to people talk because people were lying a lot.
Surprisingly, that is actually not. Reading body language is not traditionally an autistic thing, funnily enough.
So I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's just I spent a lot of time really quietly watching people because people would tell lies. And I know that people think that children are stupid, and they are. Like, don't get me wrong. You could fool me in a lie.
On things.
But people
kids pick up on patterns and systems and all that.
Yeah.
They're not morons. Well, obviously when it comes to, your standard situation. But they do have the ability of taking shit seriously.
Yeah, and it was just I was kind of that kid who I didn't trust a lot of adults. Like, I trusted my parents. I trusted maybe one or two teachers in my whole life. And even then, I kind of look back and I'm like, you might have been a little sketchy, but I still liked you and well enough to trust you, so you got lucky. But it was the same with parents. Like there was maybe the odd friend's parent that I might have trusted, but the rest of the adults I did not trust because teachers were unreliable. Like you would bring up something that was a genuine problem because you wanted to fix it. Somebody's bullying you, you bring it up. And you're like, listen, I'm not tattling on this person because I want to get them in trouble. I am tattling on this person because I want you to step in and get them to leave me alone. That's it.
That's a big problem.
That's a big problem with the modern schooling system.
You'll tell the teacher that this so-and-so is bullying you. They won't do anything about it. But one day when you fight back, you're the one in trouble and get kicked out.
That was always a serious problem with me and teachers. And that burnt a lot of bridges because I was like, if you are going to teach me to uphold the law with rules, then you need to uphold the rules. I am not tattling on this person. I have proof of stuff that kids had done to me. And I would go up to the teachers and they would do shit. And I would be like, so then what am I supposed to do?
Yeah,
And it's one of those things, if I had been a smarter kid, I would have learned about the legal system because, man, I would have gone after those teachers. But the thing is I knew that stuff, but I couldn't bring it up. And you don't bring it up with your parents because your parents, what are they going to do? Complain to the school? And then the school does nothing.
Knowing my parents, it wouldn't just be complaining at the school. It would be probably a little more extreme than that because,
And the
my
thing
family is sort of the kind of family that would probably break someone's legs for screwing with me. So,
And the thing is I was being genuine about I don't want them to be in trouble. I just want them to leave me alone. That's it.
But that's always it.
Like, I get that you don't like me. I understand that. You are more than welcome to dislike me. Whatever it is that I did that pissed you off so much that you dislike me, I'm not going to fix that. I don't see the point in fixing that. But I do understand that the solution is, like, just pretend I don't exist. It's super simple. And I would bring that up, and the teachers were like, oh, well, just do what she said. And that never works, So it's like, okay, well, at some point, you either split us up, send me to a different classroom. I would have gone. I was willing to go.
I think it comes to that point where now people say that schools shouldn't have a or some people say that schools shouldn't have a responsibility over the kid because yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But then parents are entrusting them. They're leaving them with those teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And the teachers have given them their word that the student will be in a good learning environment. And part of that good learning environment is obviously, ensuring that they're safe enough to even learn in the first place.
That's basically everywhere that I see that I had the most flaws in school was because I didn't feel safe enough to go. And that the classes were not worth going to because there was no time spent with the teachers because there was no time to spend with the teachers. And, it's really hard as a child to really just admit, listen, I probably need one-on-one teaching with somebody who's a better professional, because the teachers who teach for multiple students, they're teaching a general student populace. Or at best you might have like a program that offers you 4 different learning types. And maybe you fall under one of those categories. I don't know if you guys had something like that, but they tried to start something like that in like my middle school. And I was like, well, that's great. But what if you don't fall into one of those? Or what if you fall into multiples of those? Or what if you're something else completely and utterly, and they're just like, well, then you're screwed. I'm like, well, doesn't that mean that... and I kept trying to explain that to my parents. I'm like, doesn't that mean that maybe we should just look into a one-on-one teacher? Like, I wanted to be homeschooled so bad. You have no idea. It wasn't that I didn't want to hang out with my friends. Like, yeah, if I could do like classes that were meant for interaction with other students that wasn't distracting from like important studies like math and English and the social studies where you learn about other countries, not necessarily the socialist programs, but learning about other countries. That's what social studies used to be for us. It usually meant learning about like Britain and England and the UK and Europe and Asia and
Yeah.
Africa. Like that's what social studies used to be for me. What it is now, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know that I could trust that one, because that loses the whole purpose of that one. And science too. Like I actually really liked science. It's just that when you don't do math, they don't give you science because they assume that you're going to need enough math for science to work. And it's like, yeah, but what kind of math are you using for this kind of science? Because if you can use it, then I can probably still do it. Because if it's just measurements, I've never had problems with that kind of math. It's usually when you throw in like letters and stuff that my brain
Yeah,
is like, I'm
the
not.
thing with science is it often does use algebra.
Yeah.
That's sort of why algebra is such a big deal, because in science, it's often organizing the letters and shit.
See, and that's when I would still try it again, but at the same time, I would do it with like a one-on-one teacher, because now that I've figured out that math really is just different types of puzzles, that's where my frustration with my schooling comes in, because I'm like, one teacher probably could have just figured out that my puzzle's just wrong.
Oh, yeah. And all you need makes a very good point.
Mm-hmm.
Teachers don't want to get involved in those sort of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
I will say,
For them,
on the
it's a-
subject of math, just remember NASA has failed some of their calculations and just blown a whole bunch of money out the window because they miscalculated something.
Well, like that's just it. Like math isn't perfect, so I know that there's always a solution to learning it. That's what's nice about math is it's a logical study. I'm not saying that I would go into any hard math now, because at this point it's more just for the fun of it, and just to broaden my horizons. I really have to start making a list of books to read. This being not working thing is driving me insane.
Oh yeah, Jen, I'm gonna have to go because my dinner is ready.
Oh, sure. I know you guys.
If you are still streaming, I'll be happy to join back.
Oh, no problem.
So,
Thanks for joining. Like, just give me a shout in the chat if you come back.
I'll still be in like the StreamYards backstage. It's just I'll message you in the private chat.
Sure.
So
I think Blind Girl might be home, but I don't know if she'd want to join, because I don't know when does she do her streams. I'm just gonna ask you before you.
She's doing it at 7:30 today. She's got her kid.
Oh, okay. So at 7:30 her time.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's probably in an hour and a half.
It is 5:49 right now.
2 hours. 2 hours. Okay, so we got time. All right. Maybe I'll invite her in then if she wants to join us. But she's on her phone, so she might not be available.
You also might end up with a copyright strike. Jack has gotten several people a copyright strike.
Jack?
Her kid. Sorry.
Oh.
Because he'll be playing something in the background.
Okay. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, you're right. I can't afford it. Ellen, are you available? I don't think she is. I think she was out and about. I know she's in my chat, but anybody want to join us? I mean, we could just do it ourselves. I don't know what we'll talk about. We'll figure out something.
All I've been doing is Minecraft.
See, the thing is, all you need is I could kind of understand that from the point of view from the teachers. It's just when the students are leaving me with scars on my knees and my elbows and shit, that's where I kind of draw the line with that, though. It was one thing when they were ignoring me. Like, I spent the whole year where no one would talk to me other than 3 people. And I'd started off okay. Like, the girls were okay, and I didn't say anything mean to them. I just kind of drawed a little bit, and, I would try to be pleasant. And it was awkward because I knew I wasn't really fitting in. It was one of those things where, like, I felt kind of bad that I was starting, these girls had been going to school with each other for 6 years, and here's this new girl coming in, and I was fully developed. Like, I had full boobies, I was bleeding every month, um, I controlled my hormones. Like, there were times where I wanted to cry a lot because, like, when you're 12 and you're going through all that shit, you don't know how to deal with it. It's just it's a weird situation where you're not mentally prepared or maturely prepared for it at all. And I would just go off on my own during that time, and it was just I couldn't explain it to them because none of them were going through it, and so I would have girls snap my bra, trip me, and just not talk to me, and
Jealous
tell.
of the airbags.
That's basically it. That's basically it. And it took a couple of the dudes to like tell me that for me to figure out what was going on, because one of the other girls started to get a little bit of heat too. But the thing is, she was prettier. Like, I mean, I was pretty enough, but she was pretty, and I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was cool. I was just like, wow, I mean, you look like that this young, then, good for you. Just don't let the bitches get to you. And I think she and I kind of had a little bit of an understanding, but we just didn't interact with each other because that would have been the worst situation to do. It would have gotten a lot worse. And once I got to middle school, well, it was okay because even if I was younger, you still got girls in the ninth grade who are like 15 going into 16, like getting ready to go to high school the next year kind of stuff. So like, you're not really competing with that just because you have some boobies grown in at 12, So like it did change a little bit. But I'd had a mental breakdown after that year because I hated the girls around me. My friends were okay, but I think they were torn because of it. Because it's like, oh well, either we support this girl or we get heat for it too. But it got better in high school. In high school, you kind of blend in because like in high school in Calgary, your classes you're dealing in a school with like at least 1,500 people or more. Like the smallest school I knew had maybe 400 people, and that was way outside of Calgary. Where I went, I think we had 2,000 students. So you blend in. Like, nobody really remembers you walking down the hall if you really don't want to be. And my brother was the rugby player, so there was that. I exploited that. There's hockey. There's hockey players, and then there's football players, and then there's rugby players.
Yeah, rugby looks intense.
So I got a little lucky with that one. I mean, he would tell me stuff all the time, and I was like, you know what? I don't doubt what you're saying. It's just I kind of wish that you'd let them do it, because if you'd let them do it once, Dad and Mom would have taken me seriously for once, and I could have gotten that homeschooling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, I mean, it's probably better that I learned how to interact with people. Once I got out of school and went into working in customer service, and that really, I mean, it did help, but it didn't help. Like it helped me interact with people because you have to interact with people. But for at least a couple of years, you can be sarcastic when you do it because you're young enough that people don't realize that that's what you're doing. But anyway. So how's life treating you, though?
Fairly good.
That's good.
Just
Oh, you didn't have the junior high. Yeah. Did you guys have junior high?
yeah, high school and junior high.
Okay.
Oh, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Being a poor kid sucks.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I was lower middle class, but my parents were lower middle class because they wanted to pay off everything first because they're conservative. So they paid off the house within the first 10 years of marriage with the kids. And then they paid off their cars, and they did everything that you're supposed to do when you want to have money later on in life. Like right now, I suck as a child because they helped me out, and it's one of those things where I'm like, I do everything I can to help them back, because I don't live in a basement. I do have an apartment that I share with my brother, because he can't help himself, and I'm close enough to my parents where like they've had operations over the last couple of years, so it's bad that I don't have a job, but it was kind of convenient because there was a couple of times where I would have to go over and babysit my mom for a couple months, because she had both her knees replaced, and then my
The way my disability set up is with my mom being my pay, and I pay rent on my room every month.
You have a situation though. Like you have a situation. For me, my shame is more of the fact that like I am physically able. I admit that I have like introverted issues. Like I don't like dealing with people. But you know what? I would work at a convenience store if it got me my own paycheck. And I would do it with no questions asked. I would work making salads for people, or sandwiches for people, or doing soup kitchen or whatever. I don't have a problem with the job. It's just getting the job. And that's going to get more difficult because, again, there's more people desperate for work, and there's a lot of businesses that no longer can keep going. It's not that bad yet, but it's going to get worse. And that's the thing that everyone's bracing themselves for. So, like, I'm okay. But I joked with my mom about going out bottle picking. Like, I'm at the point where, like, I would go out bottle picking. And I'm like, that's really sad.
My mom yelled, so have you, we stopped by this Family Dollar that's sort of under construction. I'm like, Mom, we should so totally go back and see what's in the dumpster. Dumpster, while a place is under construction, is fine, but some people, if they dumpster dive for fun at, like, behind Walmart, some of those dumpsters get nasty.
They do. They do.
But construction dumpsters, you can find some good stuff in it, but Mom wouldn't let me dumpster dive, which it's not like we needed anything.
Yeah, I'm not to that point yet. I'm still getting food, but like I am on government assistance. So basically, my parents, our inheritance is the condo that we're living in. So I get a little bit of assistance to pay basically my rent, my most important bill, and then I have enough for maybe $100 worth of groceries, and then everything else has to go towards my bills. I don't get anything else. That's it. So if I run out of money for food, there are places that I can go. Like there's most of the churches do food banks, basically.
Yeah,
so I can food bank.
Yeah, I've had to get food from a food pantry in the past. Not lately, though. Luckily.
Oh, hey, Arms. He's back. Okay. Yeah, it's not a cry fest, guys. Like I'm not feeling bad for myself because, like I said, I'm doing okay. Like there are a lot of people who aren't doing as well as I am, and it's more their kids that I feel bad for, But it's just staying positive for people is my most important mission this year is just to stay positive because like there was a lot of statistics that I'm mad at the Wexit for pushing, but they're not wrong. Is in times like these, a lot of things that go up that are concerning are things like suicide rates, right? So in 2015, when Justin was elected, there was a huge job loss. Like we went into a huge recession. And for that year, yes, the suicide rate did spike. And that's just, it kind of happens. People lose their jobs. The market's not good. You don't know what's going to happen in the future. And your brain overwhelms. It's not good. And I don't advocate for it. I'm just saying that, it is that season where I know shit is going on. So just watch your family members and cheer them up, tell them that life isn't over yet. In fact, if you have to, get them angry. Don't let them get depressed. Let them get angry, because what's going on isn't right. And there's nothing wrong with them. They're great. They are good people. And life isn't over yet. While you're alive, we can still build a future for ourselves. It's when we're dead that we can't do anything at all. So, for the 8 people in my chat who probably, if you know a Canadian who's down on their luck, who's not necessarily me, because I'm okay, pat them on the back and be like, "You're good, boy. You're good." Hey, Elowen, you're good. Hey, functional.
You may be in pain, but you're good.
You're good. So, at least hopefully I'm making some people smile, because like I said, well, people left. I think I depressed.
The pain just means you're alive. And a little too much pain means, yeah, you need to, apparently someone decided you need to be really assured that you're alive.
Yeah, and that's just it. Like I said, I don't want to bring that up to be depressing or anything. It's just that stuff was being pushed, and they are not wrong. Like with the tech mines going, that was I think they said like 19,000 jobs right off the bat are gone. I think it's going to be a hell of a lot more than that. Like I know, like the total right now is 70 billion that they're claiming that they've lost because of this deal. It's probably a hell of a lot more than that, because like there's always the stuff that's connected afterwards that would have come because of this mine. Like they were saying that it was going to go towards like cars and manufacturing, and like it was going to trickle down to other businesses, So that money is there. It's probably closer to 200 billion. If you really think about it. And the job losses, it's over 200,000 jobs lost because of this thing overall. And I mean, it's 37 million people in Canada. Like that, it's a huge loss, but like, we can, I don't know if we can overcome it. We will. Fuck Trudeau. Vote for someone better, guys. Or I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I
think you'll always be able to
better.
I think you'll always be able to overcome the bullshit that's thrown at you. It's just how long and how many losses before that is sort of the question here.
And the other thing too is my other mission for this year is anytime I come across someone who is really that angry in Alberta, I just want to remind you guys, I support you if you want to protest, but do not do it like them. Do not do it with violence. The longer we can do it without violence, the longer we can stay peaceful, the longer we can stay polite, the better we look. And I know people are like, well, who cares about how you look? The better we look, the stronger we will be. Because these people do not look good right now. They do not. They look terrible. Their actions make them look terrible.
Fucking plebs.
There's not really a such thing as a violent protest. That is when you cross the line into something else.
I'm pretty sure that's called a riot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not quite riot, but yeah.
That is essentially what it is. A violent protest is a riot.
And that's what I'm advocating against. I do not want protests that turn into riots. The longer we stay peaceful, like I don't have problems with people standing outside of buildings with signs, staying on the sidewalks out of people's way with signs, making their messages heard. If they want to be heard, I have no problems with that. I support that because I support freedom of speech. I do believe people do have the right to have their word, but I do not believe that your rights should infringe on the rights of others. And this is where I think they are misunderstanding. We are not saying that you shouldn't protest. We are saying that the method that you are protesting in is dangerous.
What is infringing on others' rights.
And it is infringing on the rights of others. And like I said, stay peaceful. There's nothing wrong with starting a conversation or trying to bring things to a table so that we can find solutions to our problems. But I know I know that's not what's happening. But we'll get there. I mean, you guys have. I see good things coming out, and I see weird things coming out of you guys in the UK.
I haven't really been keeping up with the news, to be honest.
I don't
But,
know. It flows to where it's like we're not sure if we should be cheering for Boris or booing at Boris, or if people think that there's stuff going on with the Queen and Merkel, because there's always some theory about the
oh
Queen.
yeah. When it comes to Merkel's just being a bitch.
Oh, she is. Oh, I I agree with that. Like I feel like she's killing the Queen, and there's a little part of me who's just like, Harry, how can you stand there and let her kill your grandmother? And I sound dramatic. She's in her 90s, isn't she?
Yeah, around that.
Is she going to get a letter from herself when she hits 100?
That would be amazing. I admire her a lot. Like, I mean, I think she's done a lot to try to give everything she could to her grandsons, given what's happened, and and I don't.
Mother died in a car crash,
and I don't know if I don't know any of that stuff. Like the paparazzi, I don't know any of the theories on that. Like I don't know if someone's been feeding him bullshit about his grandma or something. But she's not an evil person. She loves her family, and she is doing her best to uphold a position that I don't think she wanted either. You know?
I think the issue with Meghan Markle is she couldn't handle the royal life.
I don't think she could either. Or she wanted her cake.
And eat it too, yeah. Pretty much that. Now, I think the reason why Meghan Markle's being such a dick is because she's not just leaving the royal family, she's being a massive bitch about it. You know, she's talking shit about the Queen.
You know, and it's just, it's really mean. Like, I could understand if they wanted to leave the royal family life. That I understand. Like, what happened to his mom? I understand him wanting to leave that behind. Like, if he's had enough of it, then he's had enough of it. I don't want to pay for it. I will say that as a Canadian, I still stand by my belief that he should immigrate properly.
I don't even think that you should pay. Why should Canada pay for the?
He's not a royal anymore.
But it's not even just that. It's that it's sort of.
Yeah, I know, right?
Out of the empire.
I know, right? You would think, right? It's like, why? Because I don't know. I don't get it either. It's one of those things where I'm like, is he bringing us tourism now? No, because he didn't before. He didn't before. He really didn't. I mean, like, we had like the odd reporter up here when he was being naughty, because he would go to the bars up north and like dance with like the girls all night and get hammered. And we were like, well, he's like a young man on his own in a foreign country. What did you expect him to do?
Oh, I thought you meant the time where he dressed up as a fucking SS officer.
No,
a German officer from World War II.
No, I heard about that afterwards. I don't get that stuff. I mean, you know, maybe he had a bad time in his period. I mean, he is a ginger, you know? I mean, I don't know what goes on for gingers. I hear they take a lot of shit sometimes, so I don't know.
They take a lot of shit in the United Kingdom.
You know, so maybe he had a year where he was just like, you know what? If you think I'm Satan, I'm going to be Satan this year. I don't know. But, like, I
think it's genuinely just a guy that wanted to have fun.
Yes, I do think that, you know, because like I said, when he was here, he was training for the military here. You guys remember that, right?
Yeah. It's actually compulsory to have military service when you're a royal.
So when he came here for the training, like there were a couple times where he'd pop up in the news and they were trying to play him off as being the naughty boy, like he was like the UK Justin Bieber. And I was like, okay, he's a young man on his own, like I said, on his own in a foreign country. And he's probably surrounded by guys his own age who are just like, yeah, dude, go for it. You know, you're a prince. Like, you know what? Take advantage of it. If the girls want to lay you because of that.
No. It is. No. When you think about it, it's not because he's a prince that they're fucking around. It's because they're military and they have nothing better to do when they're on bases and not in a combat area.
That's just he's a young man. Like I said, like
Exactly.
I'm not
You
saying
know?
that young men are rapists or anything like that. I'm saying that young men are at an age where they are looking for romance. I don't know if you know this, ladies, but men like romance too. It's not just sex. I mean, sex is great. Don't get me wrong. They look for that too. But sometimes they're hoping that maybe they'll meet a girl and that they can bring home to their moms. I'm not saying Harry was necessarily doing that. I think he was just there to get laid. And I don't blame him for that either.
Seriously, like, I think it's just
It's just
let the guy have his fucking fun.
do you think the women didn't have fun with that? Do you know how much fun it would be to be the girl who was like, you know what? Yeah, I remember I got laid by that guy. Like, even if nothing happens from it, you still have that on your list bucket. Like, Jesus.
List bucket.
You say that like women don't have those.
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go back to list bucket.
Bucket list. Sorry, I said it backwards. I know. List bucket.
Dyslexia.
It's a list that's in the bucket.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, it kind of works that way, doesn't it?
You know, neighbor kicked the bucket last week.
Jesus
he was hanging.
Green.
He hung himself and kicked the bucket out from under him.
Jesus Green.
Sorry.
That was dark. That was great.
That was dark.
I laughed.
I want more.
But yeah, no, it's just.
I did hear.
Go ahead.
Someone was joking about hanging themselves with razor wire and also super gluing their hands to their head so the razor wire would cut their head off and it would look like they just got so mad they ripped their own head off.
Yeah. Some people, yeah, no.
Humans are scary.
Yeah, they are. This is the thing. We act like we live in the world of Disney, and then you realize that no, we don't. We really don't.
No.
Nope.
When you have to deal with a crack or bitch, then you realize that humanity is definitely not safe.
No.
The world is closer to the source material for a lot of Disney movies.
If they went by the original storylines, you are not wrong. You are absolutely right, because they're those stories were creepy for a reason. You know, it's even like Halloween. I actually joked about this back in 2016 because that's when the feminists were really raging about like the outfits. And I think they were just pissed off because everybody else wanted to go as like the Candy Ho version of Harley Quinn, which is my honest belief because I know that that's what they wanted to go as. Because now we have the Birds of Prey movie. This is the thing. They are women. They get jealous when other women dress up the way that they want to dress up as, and then they get pissed off because the other women do it better. And then, you know what they do? They crap on that character.
Oh, the feminists complain all the time. Well, women are constantly bullied for the way they look. It's like
By women.
Yeah, who's the one
gay
bullying
men.
them?
Sometimes. Not as often, but just as...
Oh, gay men are just fucking savage.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even blame them at this point. They're so effeminate. All they can do is take the piss. Nothing against gay men.
Nothing against gay men. Like, I don't mind the honest truth about stuff, but the honest truth is I don't give a shit. So whenever somebody tears me apart about my looks, I'm just like, I don't care. Because you know what? All the stuff that matters is what's good. And it's the stuff that guys give me compliments for. So I'm happy with that. That's actually probably what makes me more attractive, though. You know? I think it's the lack of makeup that would get me nailed, because I don't wear it because it's bad for your skin. When you're at my age group and you live in like dryness central, and moisturizers are like they get sucked up by the atmosphere.
Bitch, be thirsty.
Yes, pretty much. And I'm a coffee drinker. And the other thing too, like I think the only things I could say in terms of like, no, I'm actually pretty happy with where my face is. When I look at myself and I look at other girls my age, other women my age, because I'm actually not young, I'm like, the majority of my complaints are like, well, I smoked. So sometimes when I'm thinking, I get like little wrinkles on my forehead. But like,
I
You
think
get
everyone gets wrinkles on their forehead.
Yeah, you get them anyway. It's just mine are a little bit more like they're a little bit more pronounced than they were when I was in my 20s, which at my age I'm expecting that anyway. But I like it's like I said, like I'm not meaning to be mean. It's just you can't help compare things after a while. And I'm just saying the heavy makeup that people put on their skin,
It ain't good for him.
no. Always look at what they look like beforehand or afterwards. And at least some of them do it appropriately. Like I mean, there are people who take days off like I am going to compliment Blair White because I do admire her. I think she's pretty. And yes, I do call her because
Yeah,
she passes for me.
yeah.
And that I find it easy to call her a her because I can see that.
And also, last time I checked, she wasn't such a bitch when it came to being called a woman. You know?
And I actually respect her for a lot of things. I mean, she's a little bit catty. I actually like that though. I don't have a problem with that because I like personality in different people. I like that she has a personality. I like that her personality is a little bit catty because that I find catty is a little bit honest sometimes. It's how it's done. Like if you're just being malicious all the time, yeah, I would have a problem with that. I don't really see that from her. And I've seen such a kindness bone from her this year. That's what I see from her is a kind person who's just, like she's not going to give you handouts because like she has every reason to not trust people. And I understand that entirely. And she's a big figure on the internet. So, that's okay, Jack. Like it's certain things that I like about her. Like I like her eyes. I like her nose structure. Like she's done a nice job with herself. Like I think she's pretty, and she her personality makes it too. Like because she's confident. That's something that I admire in I find attractive in people is when they're confident, and it's because I oftentimes wish I was more confident. This is why I'm saying this stuff right now because like lately I do feel a little bit more confident. So like yeah, I'm a little bit chubby, but I don't have a lot of wrinkles on my face. And I'm seeing women that are like younger than me by like a long shot who do. And I'm like, that's either unhealthy or that's like good for me.
It's Schadenfreude. That's the word you're looking for. Schadenfreude.
So it's just that feeling of being back at grade 12 where I didn't realize what, like I understood why the girls hated me, but I didn't understand why the girls hated me because like I said, the maturity wasn't there. Well, I am a little bit more mature, but not by much. Because if I can work it, I might. But
and Jack makes a good point. You should be confident. Confidence is good.
Right? So pat myself on the back for not looking like I'm like 50 when I'm 38. But it's little things like that. I actually got carded today too. That was the funny thing. Like I was picking up a little pot. It's my little 1 weekly demon. And they were IDing everybody in the store. It was just one of those things where two guys came in and they weren't sure, and so that just means everyone pulls out their ID. That doesn't mean that they don't ID everybody. It's just your regular customers over time. And then so they ID'd me, and I'm like, well, let's just be real. Like I'm just taking this as a free compliment because we all know that I don't look like I'm 30. And she's like, I don't know that. I absolutely don't know that. And I'm like, well, I'm not. And so she's looking at it like, you're 38. I'm like, oh, how old did you think I was? And she refused to tell me. I'm like, little things like that make you feel good,
It's all like, yeah. People thinking you're either older than or younger than you are is the weirdest experience. Like, people have told me, you sound like you're in your 40s.
Mm.
Since when? I'm like, wait, what? Like, I'm genuinely confused when people say that.
You've got a little bit too much energy for that. I would say more like 25, but I talk to quite a few Brits now, so that...
Fair enough.
It could be a bit of an accent thing because, like it's one of those things where I don't think we can emphasize enough how many people in like North America and probably Australia too, because I know a few of them do kind of melt for the proper British accent. It's just this idea that you guys are just more intelligent because of it, and it's sheer stupidity that makes people believe that. I'm not saying that you guys
Oh
aren't.
yeah, it's ill-informed. Let's be honest here.
That's not to say that you guys aren't. I would say you are a little bit more educated. Not, not overall.
No bullshit. British people are not educated. Have you been to Essex?
No,
Oh God, you will be horrified. Trust me. Go to Essex, and all theories about British intelligence goes away. It is horrible.
yeah.
Just
It is a thing. Like I said, like I've learned a lot about accents just from conversations. It's like with the New Zealanders. Like I have this like love hate for them because there's some that I've met that were really great and intelligent, and then there were some that were so batshit crazy that it was just like, is that inbreeding joke like a thing?
yeah, it probably is, but I don't really
Inbreeding
care about
sheep,
it.
what's the difference?
I think the thing is that I treat that shit sort of on an individual basis.
And Morgs, if you're listening to me, I'm not talking about you. You are far too clever because you like to twist people around with your fucking jokes, and don't tell me that you don't, because I know that you do. He's my gay Kiwi friend that I like to throw at people when I want to troll them.
Oh, I love how he specifically the gay Kiwi.
Oh, believe me. There's when I call him that, he's like, "Yep, that's because that's what I am."
It's
Kiwi.
a tiny land-dwelling bird that looks fabulous.
Looks fabulous. he's fun though. Like he's one of those guys that's fun. But he will use the gay card on you. So the first thing he'll do is he'll ask you for dick pics, and I'm talking to you two specifically. If I were to bring him in here, he would ask you both for your dick pics, and then he might share those because that's what you
either
do.
get spotted dick or dick.
Let's just say he would probably get a better chance at sucking my dick before he gets a dick pic from me.
I know, right? That's the response he always gets, and it's just the funniest thing because he'll start to whine a little bit, and then he'll wheedle, and then he'll tease you a little bit, and then he'll start flattering you, and he does it. It's absolutely harassment, but it's funny. Like he's really amazing. I love him, but
So he's sort of like the funny version of James Charles.
yes, yeah. He's quite good. Like I said, I've brought him on to back in the old days, Jack. Remember back in those old crazy days when I hosted those Jack streams. And when I got you to come in and play them, and I would just host them for you. I brought him in, and he hit on Silent Bob, Silent Greg. Well, Greg wasn't silent; he was just having issues with his mic. So that was his name for the rest of the evening, and he talks about him every once in a while. He still talks about him every once in a while. He's like, "So how's Silent Greg doing?" And I'm like, "I haven't talked to that guy since the last time I streamed." Oh God, that was such a long time ago. It was so many screens. I appreciate that you do it now, Jack. I really appreciate that you do it because just hosting and getting everybody and then doing it consistently. And then I was having problems with my computer. And then I was having a lot of issues with my introvertedness. There was a point where I was like, no, I really need a break from talking to people.
Oh yeah, I've had that a few times where you just say, you know what, fuck this, not talking to anyone.
Yes, it's just...
For me, that goes one step further. Not only does that happen, I then feel bad for not talking to people, and because I feel ashamed, I don't talk to people.
That's exactly what it is. It's just like, and it's feeling like I need to cave dwell for a while. I just need some isolation from everything, and then
exactly. It's like the first few days. Oh yeah, I just don't want to talk to people. I'm tired. Then it's, oh, son of a bitch. I haven't spoken to him in like 3 days and I feel bad about it. And I feel ashamed. I don't want to show myself. Oh, fuck. And then that's another couple of weeks on top of that.
Thanks, Big Dro. I like doing these streams, you know, because like they are really therapeutic. Yeah. It's one of those things where like Ranting Monkey says it all the time, Scribe says it, Satsu says it, everybody I think who does these says it. It's just sometimes you come on here and you just talk about the things that are going on around you that kind of piss you off, and you exchange stories with people and you just feel so much better. And
oh, I love the shit talking aspect of it.
Oh yeah.
Funny enough, I've started streaming now. I've just thought, you know what? This is fun.
Well, it is. It absolutely is fun, and I've actually really started to enjoy that part of it too. Because like it's one of those things with real friendships that you know that you have a real friendship is. It's not really brutal making fun of people. It's understanding the jokes.
Yes. Yeah. The thing with me is, if I cannot make a joke about you, then I'm going to feel a little more tense around you. Mm-hmm. And that's just shit. It's, for me, the joke is sort of the indication between, oh, you this sort of, am I going to like you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's also a communication thing, and I'm taking this. I'm mangling this quote. It came from this black comedian guy. I can't remember if the interview was in like the 2000s or something, but I'm sure some of you guys would remember his quote. But it was just like, you know, when you're making these jokes, it's because you're relating with the people that you're joking with, and if you can't make that connection with that outreach, they're not going to laugh because they're not going to find it funny. And I find that some of that I can understand why some comedians are having a hard time with people. It's because like some of these SJWs, they don't have that ability to make that connection. They don't have that ability, and I don't know why it's not there. I don't know what's cutting it off.
I think the problem is they're so concerned with trying to skirt over certain topics, lest they themselves are tense because of how, because, you know, if they say something wrong, they're persona non grata. You know? They get fucked over if they say the wrong thing.
You don't mind, do you? My cat.
Whereas,
yeah, where the camera can see her, so I
have no problems. I love kitties, so I'm good. I've been watching this Korean lady with her 7 cats for like the last week, and it's one of those things where like I keep meaning to stop, but her cats are so cute. I've got all their names memorized. It's sad.
No, it's not sad.
No, they're so cute. And one of them. Actually, I think it's 2 of them that are suffering from dwarfism. So they've got their regular cat bodies.
They're extra cute.
Oh, they're extra cute. Like they've got regular cat bodies, but like these stubby little feet, and then their tails are kind of like shortened. Except for the white cat has like a regular cat tail. So like this little tiny feet and this big ass fluffy tail. But the little gray cat, she does little voices for him, and I don't know, I can't remember the name of the voice actor, but she sounds like this Japanese voice actress that like does cat voices for anime, and I'm wondering if she does voices for that, because like it's not like Koreans don't do their own version of anime. Like they have their own stuff, and sometimes they do. I think sometimes they do collabs if they understand the language. But so she's got a couple voices that she does for her cats that are just nailed right on to the personalities. Like she's got it's just fun to watch. And then she built a bunch of cat furniture for her cats, and she talks about the life of cats, and it reminds me of what it was like having one. And I miss having one. I think if I had one right now, my computer would explode.
Yeah, that's. Oh, I was at one point. There's this like liquid glass thinking putty. It's like silly putty, but if you let it sit, it becomes like crystal clear.
Oh yeah.
I didn't get it because it will attract hair like no one's business and become ruined.
Yeah. See, like that was the thinking that I had with this computer, because like if it sucks in everything, and I do have smokes, but like I've been really good about not smoking too much around my computer. It still sucks in everything. Like I'm gonna clean this again next week because it's due. Um, but last month when I cleaned it, like it was so thick, it was coming out in clumps. And I haven't seen it like that in ages, and I don't understand what's going on. But I know the people around me have pets, and I mean that shouldn't be enough. And sometimes I visit my parents who have a big fluffy lab, and I'm like, that's still not enough. But when I had a cat, I was like, yeah, I had to clean it every 3 weeks, because cat hair, cat hair, and smoking together in a computer room is not a good plan.
Not the ideal.
No.
The one I stream with Wednesday, my friend since like the 5th grade, so way back in the day, his dog sheds like seriously at least it's gotta be like 3 pounds of fur a day. I don't know how it sheds that much and isn't bald.
Yeah, there's different types of dogs. Like I think Pomeranians do that. The Labs can. It's seasonal though. With them, their coats are meant to keep them dry. So, like, because they're swimming dogs, like they're duck hunters. So like they have a particular oil. So like seasonally they will lose clumps of hair, and like we will dethatch. My parents get their dog dethatched, I think, twice a year for it. And that helps like keep the hair off. But I quite often go over at least once a week, every 2 weeks, to do a deeper clean for them. Just because I'll do it outside and do it thoroughly, and he thinks I'm playing, which is funny. Uh, he's great. Like I mean, he's gotten a little bit old, and I think he's losing his eyesight a little bit, because like he did nip me a little bit, and he's not a mean dog. He's not really inclined to bite, but he went to go pull on my sleeve to like direct my hand to pet his head, and he just completely missed. And like it was uh it was kind of like one of those under the skin kind of cuts.
Yeah.
So it stung, but it was more just like, oh, I hope you don't blood, because like I don't like dealing with that kind of, you have to pop that kind of shit, right?
Yeah. Oh, the second time I got bit by a dog was this Chow Chow, who
Oh,
basically I was just playing with him and he got a little too roughhousing and apparently decided that my hind end was a chew toy.
yeah. Like they don't mean to like bite, and honestly he's never done it. Like I said, like he's not inclined to bite, but like if he's losing his eyesight, he might be losing his ability to grasp where he's aiming for. Which is fine. Like that's just, it's one of those things where like my parents are aware of it, but they're older, like my dad's 75 years old. So it's like, well, dog, you're going to be in the cage often because you're going to make these little mistakes, and it's not your fault that you're old, and you probably need to be retrained a little bit, and dad'll do that. Like he'll fix that. But um it it's just it's sad seeing my puppy get old. He's the one I use as my avatar half the time because he was so fucking cute.
Ah, that's life,
Let me.
unfortunately.
Do
Yeah.
I have my dog as my avatar? Oh, I don't have a dog avatar.
Upon a
Yep.
But yeah,
Yep.
my puppy I had that finally had to put down. He was great, unless you left him home alone. Because if we left him out of the cage, he would you do his business in the bathroom out of spite. Like, how dare you not take me with you?
Yeah, see, our dog, their dog, he's a little bit of a thief. So, like, it's not that they don't hide anything edible out of his reach, but he will try to take paper or tissue, or he doesn't do the cloths anymore. Like when he was a puppy, he was terrible about like dishcloths and stuff like that. But I don't doubt I could see him like maybe sneaking into a room and trying to get snacks. Because like they're not dumb, and the doors that they have, like they're good enough to keep him out. But I could see him figuring out how to turn a knob. I could see him learning how to do it.
That's
I
actually
think
what.
there's knowing how to do it and then doing it.
Yeah, there's. I saw a funny story, like, or sort of. Basically, the gist of it was this lady had a dog that passed pretty much everything to be service dog to help around the house, except for the dog just would do the opening of the doors or whatever whenever it wanted, not on
Yeah.
command.
Well, I knew, like my last roommate's dog figured out the trick on certain kinds of closets. So, like, you know how certain tracks on closets, you just kind of bump them and they'll open.
Yeah.
Well, that was the quickest thing he figured out how to do, was just to lean into it, and like naturally he found the cat food, and he got lucky because dogs are not supposed to eat cat food.
Oh, my dog would not eat any. We tried giving my dog the best dog food ever, like the gravy train and all that, but he would not. He just said, "Screw that stuff. I'm eating cat food."
They
So
love cat food, but they're not supposed to eat it. It's so bad for them.
yeah, he probably would have lived longer if I forced him to eat dog food, but it's like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this dog ate everything. So,
No, James.
and that's, bye, James. Have a good one.
See you, James.
It's not too late for hope in Canada. There's always, like I said, it's just making sure that our radicals don't do the violence, guys. Like, just stick to the nice stuff. Like, I know, I don't have anything wrong with the protesting, because, like, if all of us are out of work, we might as well do something. But at the same time, though, don't do violent stuff. Just sit there and be like, hey,
Wait for the government to do the violent stuff first, and then have your French Revolution.
right? Hopefully. Anyway, I'm wondering if I should maybe shut down pretty soon, because it's been over 2 hours. I think it's been 2 hours and 38 minutes.
If you want to.
The Streamlab says an hour 36.
Hour 36?
Yeah, StreamYard says hour 36. Or, well, 37 now, but yeah.
Weird.
I'll check on the YouTube webpage.
What page says 96?
96. Yeah, so that's about an hour and a half.
Yeah. Oh, that's weird, because I'm pretty sure. Oh, yeah, you're right. But it should be a little bit more than that, because I started at 4. You're right. I'm off. I'm just stoned.
Yeah, don't worry. Fair enough. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Well,
At least you have an excuse to make a mathematical mistake.
well, yes, I do.
I don't.
It's a dumb one. I mean, it is a dumb one, but
It's an
I got
excuse.
you know what? I think it's because I was setting up to start at 2:39. It's not that I started my stream at 2:39. It's just that, like,
You set it all up beforehand.
yes, and my brain is just like, I feel that now. Oh. And I haven't done this in, like, I think almost 3 weeks now. But we will start this again. Eventually, I'm gonna figure out a time zone for it. But I don't want to take over other people's spots. And I've gotten onto Trucker and Blind Girl's show a couple times, so it's helped me not to have at least some kind of stream outlet. Especially when I'm like, I just want to check Twitter to see if anybody's posting a stream or something. And, oh, look, another blockade. Oh, look, another blockade. Oh, look, we're burning tires. And
Oh yeah, Green. I'm probably gonna go to sleep after the stream. So.
Cryptic!
Hello, Cryptic.
Oh, subcryptic.
How you doing,
Cliptic.
Cryptic?
What are you,
Crypt.
Jewish?
Yeah, I was just
Catholic?
wondering. I was like, wait, what?
Riptic.
No, never Rip.
I think he left. He's like, oh, fuck you guys.
Yeah, no, he heard my voice and he just left and he's like, fuck you, Arms.
Yeah, No, I'm getting a little bit tired. I think we'll shut down. And I know that Blind Girl's starting pretty soon anyway. Like I know it's what.
I think because it's Wednesday, it'll probably be in about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm getting that right.
6:40 now, so yeah, basically an hour.
Yeah.
50 minutes.
Yeah, so if we stop now, because I'm sure she's probably gonna invite you guys and maybe me. I don't know. I may or may not join, but it's up to her.
If Trucker did as I said and used the same link, I swear, Trucker is. Thank fuck, because Trucker is the absolute worst when it comes to the Hangout links. Oh my god, I pinned like 3 or 4 Hangout links. I posted Trucker posted out the Hangout links, then I would pin them, and then he would post another Hangout link. I would pin that. He would then post another one, so I would pin that. It got to the point where I just wrote in that message, just this is the link, stop it. Oh, God. Actually, I think I could do until like 1 in the morning. Actually, 2. I forgot blind tracking ends at 2. But holy shitballs. Yeah, this is what I wrote in response. This is the last. That is the last one. No more links. I honestly just lost my shit at that point. I'm like, stop it! I'm pinning these. No need for a new one.
Oh, you said no more links, and right below that is the link to this morning.
Yeah, but that's different. That is different. I was sort of. The thing is the message that actually prompted it was on Monday when Trucker had actually sent a different link, then had actually provided a different link from the one that was pinned, which was a bit of a last straw for me. Because Trucker said, alright, so this is how it started. So, he says pinned link. I go to the pinned link. It's completely fucking empty. Then, then we actually get the proper link. I think Trucker sent it, or Blind Girl sent it to me at one point. And then I tell Trucker, that's a different fucking link. Now, to be fair, on casual glance, it would look the same because the ending is the same, AEEE. But everything else is different.
Still in Hangouts, though.
Well, yeah, still in Hangouts if you want to be pedantic about it. Holy shit.
Pedantic is fun.
No, but on a serious note, holy shit, was it a shit show, but a funny one.
I tried so hard not to interrupt her. I swear to God. But this time, if she invites me on, I will do better. You guys just need to be like, Jen, shut up. And I will stop because I don't mean to interrupt their article.
But then you've also got the question, I don't want to be rude enough to tell you to shut up. I don't want to be that guy.
I should tell her. I will tell her. She will have my permission.
And also, I'm probably most likely talking over her as well. So let's be fucking honest here.
All of us in here are basically pot and kettle for that.
Yeah, pretty much. We're all pots. We're not even a castle. We know what we're doing.
Yeah, we.
Because
try to behave.
Well, it's the problem is whenever Blind Girl reads her article, because she has to follow her screen reader, and that results in the awkward pauses. So I think now's my time to talk.
Yes, it's like a long pause. Not a long pause. She should do that. When she has a long pause, she should just be like, long pause. Right, blind girl? If you're watching, I don't know if you are.
It sort of becomes awkward as hell. Like, I'm trying to, I've got this very, like, potentially interesting point, and I'm like, ah, son of a bitch, it's sort of slipped out of my head because I had to wait so long to fucking say it because I don't know when to jump in.
I'm like a graphite-free pencil. I'm pointless.
Just because you're graphite free does not mean you don't have a point.
The graphite is the pointy bit that draws.
Yeah, you don't
Well,
necessarily need
it's
graphite. Let's be honest
it,
here.
it's a mixture of graphite and clay, depending on the hardness of the lead.
I think the only reason why they use graphite is because it's like the least toxic possibility.
Yeah, and it's slippery and comes off nicely.
Yeah, fun. Okay, I'm gonna go into fucking science shit, but it's pretty much just a special ice, a special
It's
bond
carbon.
between carbon. Yeah, it's carbon, but unlike the carbon structure of diamonds, or the carbon structure of coal, the carbon structure of graphite is layered.
Then there's also graphene, which is similar but in a more organized manner to where they make sheets that like. Have you seen graphene? It like just with like barely the touch of your hand, you can actually use a big sheet of it to like melt through ice, like with your body temperature.
I'm gonna tell you guys a story for the sake of cryptic, and it's a beautiful one. But I had this coworker back in my early 20s who got a present from her grandmother, and it was a pen that when you took the tip off, the tip was a penis. So she called it her penis.
Nice.
All right,
Can you
first
get me
of
my
all,
penis?
how comfortable was the grandmother about that sort of shit to give her a present like that?
Her grandmother seemed to be the type of lady who thought it was funny as hell. Like I guess her grandmother liked to get her funny jokes like that.
So her grandmother actually has a sense of humor.
Yeah. So naturally she did too. I know it's a miracle, right? Like my aunt had my godmother had a sense of humor too, and it was like my dad would give her inappropriate jokes. Like she liked chocolate, and she liked to tell the worst raunchiest jokes about penises. And I'm not saying she did it around like me and my brother or anything like that,
Oh,
but
but you probably had a few. Let's be honest here.
but oh sure, of course I do. But she loved these kinds of jokes. So one year for Christmas, my dad got her a giant chocolate penis for Christmas, and I mean we all saw it. Like my brother and I, I think face palmed. I had no idea what was going on. I just knew it was chocolate, and my aunt was howling with laughter.
They
It
sell
was until afterwards, and I'm like, oh my god.
Have you seen the chocolate anuses that you can buy?
Oh god, I don't doubt it. That's
Yeah.
so wrong. That's so wrong. That's such an image too.
You are to read off Jack Gunski's point.
Mm.
Oh my god, British politics is so fucking boring. There's a reason why I talk about American politics more than I do British politics. Because American politics is just shit talking.
Oh, there's shit
British-
all around politics.
British
Like-
politics is, oh wait, we had a fucking cut in some department. That's it. Or maybe the NHS ripped this baby's head off. I'm not even kidding.
Abortion?
But I think there
No,
was
but I
something
mean-
that
No, I mean, the woman was giving birth and they accidentally ripped off the baby's head.
so there was
Uh,
something that did happen
democratic
today though
abortion.
that I am going to mention because it did kind of raise some flags. It's one of those things where you kind of notify them on your list of things to watch out for. But so Disney CEO and MasterCard CEO, and I don't.
Didn't they all resign?
Yes, they
Like, what the
resigned.
fuck?
There was another big CEO who resigned too. I can't remember the name of the company though. It was like Sir Safe or something like that.
So a lot of CEOs and a lot of high-profile CEOs.
Just resigned. And my understanding of that and is not high. Like, I don't understand businesses, but like my understanding with CEOs is that's like a long-term process to retire. Like, it takes a couple years for them to
But
retire.
even then, they're the face of the company.
Mhm.
Even if they're not doing the day-to-day running, to have the face of a company do that, and so many of them doing it at the same time,
Within a 24-hour period, yeah.
yeah, that's at that point you should be asking questions. Also, all you need, yes, I would love to see a fist fight between Jacob Rees-Mogg and Jeremy fucking Corbyn. That just sounds like fun.
No, all arguments in Parliament should be solved one-on-one on Blood Gulch on Halo.
Oh no, 1v1 on Rust.
Like, just take
I'll
your pick.
fucking quickscope you from a mile away.
All arguments are settled via video games for the politicians. That would be hilarious. Watching them play video games would be
I'll
fan-freaking death.
360 no-scope you so hard that your child would feel it. You know?
I mean,
To be fair, all you need, it would be a whole lot more honest and a whole lot more fun.
I have heard of a few older folks that can play video games well. Like, there's like this 90-year-old grandma who plays the crap out of GTA.
Oh yeah,
But like, can you imagine Nancy Pelosi playing COD?
oh she'll be fucked. Take that, Nancy. No, I can't do a Trump. I can't do a Trump. We need Skittles here. Can't do a fucking Trump. Take that, you old bitch.
Take that, you. Yeah, I can't even do it.
Take that, you old bitch.
Oh.
Wrong. Take that, you old fucking hag. Because you're wrong.
Drink a little more, Nancy. Why don't you drink a little more? Have a little bit more of that that brandy and scotch that you like to drink. There's
Oh god, that Trump and Pelosi cage match. Fuck yeah, all you need.
because you know she's drinking heavy, like her face all the time, like the bitter.
It needs to, no. Fuck a one-on-one fight. Mosh pit.
Oh god.
And the last one to survive
WWF style.
gets their policy pushed.
Whichever one it is now, because I know WWF doesn't really exist.
WWE.
That would be the World Wildlife Foundation. They won that.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
I know they did.
Pretty sure the World Wildlife. Well, yeah, that shit is why they for wrestling.
That would
is
be
called-
funny too, though. Let's be real. That would be funny too. The World Wildlife.
Yeah, last man standing becomes president. Wrong.
It'd be like old school gladiator style. Oh, that's funny.
Oh god, that sounds like fun. I'd be more than happy to if that was politics. Yeah, fuck it, I'm joining. I don't care. I'll be a politician if you want. But too bad politics isn't like that, and reality is a lot more boring and horrifying.
Uh-oh. I think.
Well, to be fair, when you think about it, you know what? Actually, considering how politics has been for the past few years, actually, to be fair, all you need's what he wants for politics might actually happen.
Yeah, I'm just opening up. Just opening something up. This might take me a minute because my computer is slow and.
Oh no, paintballing!
Oh, I've never done that. I wanted to, but never done that.
Politicians in paintballing.
War games are better. Seriously, airsoft pellets.
The problem with that is that would mean that they would have to handle guns.
Oh
yeah, so the Republicans instantly win.
Right.
By default.
I mean, I like your idea, but at the same time...
let's just say, until there's a Democrat with balls, Republicans will always win.
Now, if they were intelligent, they would figure out how to use a handgun and make one that can handle paintballs, because I'm pretty sure you could do that. I'm pretty sure some engineer could do that and figure it out.
Default. We need.
They might be okay,
Uh,
because here's the thing.
Be fair.
I don't doubt they know how to handle handguns.
at one time, they did sell airsoft pellets in paintball form. They stopped selling them probably because of the issue I had. I
Potential malfunctions associated with it just exploding inside the barrel and needing to clean it out.
yeah, and
Yeah.
my idiot ass used a battery operated air gun, so and that thing never worked right again. I never worked right as I took it apart and got cleaned and then never got back together.
Thank you, Cryptic. He says he donated a 10 for a bag of potatoes. Thank you, sir.
Another bag of potatoes.
Well, where I am,
like a good potato.
where I am, it's $5.89 for a bag of potatoes. So I mean, like, that's not the worst. I think the bigger potatoes are about $10, but like those are like the big, massive ones. I wouldn't buy one because I couldn't use them up fast enough. I would have to like process them right away and freeze everything, and I don't have. I have a freezer the size of a microwave, so.
We used to have a deep freezer, but it went out, and I actually don't think there's a way to get it out of the basement. From what I've heard, that thing has been there before the house got built on top of the basement. So,
Well, one of the things I do appreciate about living close to my parents, and it's one of those things where, yes, yet again, I rely on them because they do have a house still that they've retired to, and that's fine. But they kept my dad's got 2 old fridges that he's converted to freezers, and then he's got an extra fridge out in his garage for his beer. So like the 2 downstairs act as extra freezers. So my mom is the type to because they had this place out in BC for a really long time. They still go out there, but they would pick berries all the time. So that's what my mom would do, is she would freeze berries, and they had a couple fruit trees, so she would freeze berries and fruit, and so like she always had a supply of berries to make stuff with. So like these are blackberries, raspberries, blueberries, gooseberries.
I love going through the woods picking blackberries is fantastic and good, and unless you hit an entire patch.
Thank you, Cryptic.
You walk through a patch of blackberries, it hurts. Blackberries come on prickle bushes.
Also, hello, Sheogorath.
Oh, hello.
For some sausages and veggies. I mean, that's a full meal. I'm thank you, Cryptic. I could do that.
Oh, one of the better times I've been to the doctor, Mom mentioned like about once a week I'll just eat a raw potato, and the doctor's like, "Yeah, that should be fine."
Wait, why?
Have you never eaten a raw potato? They're good.
What? Wait, what benefit does that provide?
It's a good snack, and I'm too lazy
That
to
it?
cook, so raw potato.
Why can't you just cut them up and then put them in a fryer?
Because I'm not allowed to use fryer. Last time I tried frying something, the kitchen half burnt down.
Wait, how?
Because I have a short attention span.
You
I have
can,
a short attention span.
yeah. Would you ever, like? I mean, I know you're on a budget too, but would you ever invest in like a slow cooker or like a fryer?
Yeah, we have slow cooker.
Yeah, like or something like a Ninja Foodie, because I think those have like a timer, so they alert you when you're done. When they're done.
Yeah, that's why I mostly cook in the oven, so that if I forget about it, the timer goes off and it doesn't stay on.
Yeah, because I can kind of understand that, because I kind of do that for my brother. Like I've kind of been on a not cooking strike, and it's one of those things where I refuse to cook for him until he helps me clean the kitchen properly. And so he's been cooking for himself for the last couple of weeks, because he's in too much pain apparently to help me with basic cleaning. So he will cook things in the oven, and I have to get up and check it for him because I don't want the house to burn down. And I'm not I'm not that mean. Like, I don't want them to starve, and there does come a point where I do cook for myself a little bit, but
Yeah.
I just
Also,
mhm.
Shiogorath, did you mean to write what you wrote?
Yes, you did. He's Shio.
Okay, cool.
The
He's
Daedric
he's
Prince
the
of
king
Madness,
of
everyone.
he's one of the kings of those jokes that you don't read online, but you laugh, you chuckle to yourself, and you're like, that was funny.
I
That's
mean,
funny.
seriously, the Daedric Prince of Madness. What do you expect?
If I had a proper freezer, I actually wouldn't mind doing that, because that's one of those things where you can technically freeze mashed potatoes okay. If you package them properly after you're done cooking them, you can freeze them. It's actually good for other meals, like a little naughty food that I shouldn't know how to make, but I do, would be called a croquette. And it requires mashed potatoes. And if you don't want to make mashed potatoes all the time, just freeze them and then thaw them. And then you're going to cook your meat mixture if you want to add a meat mixture to it. And then you add the meat mixture to it and you put it in the fridge to cool it so you can shape it, and you bread it and then you fry it. They're pretty good. Um, Called a croquette. They're not healthy. It's fried. I'm aware. But I'm saying, as far as like cheap food, like you
We're
can.
in the stream where everything gets awkward as fuck and we just hop between topics.
I know, and I like talking about things that you can do easy, that are yummy, that you can freeze, that are great if you're single and you live by yourself.
I'm not gonna lie, for me, I have to eat something within 2 days or it's fucking gone. And
You
it's
have
not,
people in your house, don't you?
yeah. No,
Yeah,
but what I mean it's gone, I mean I'm afraid that it will just be off and inedible.
yeah. That's. Don't you guys like I don't know where you're from exactly, but don't dox yourself. But the thing is my understanding is you guys do a lot of like pre-cut fresh foods. Like, it's kind of gotten to the point like everything is like pre-cut almost.
I don't exactly know what you mean.
Um, like, say you were to go in and you wanted to get like a certain kind of fruit, it would come in as like an apple. You get like a bunch of apples, but like if you were to get like melon, it would come in cut.
You can get cut, but you can also just get a full on melon if you really wanted to.
Okay. Like,
But,
I heard like it was one of those food shows, where they were talking about like how a lot of London has become like really convenient food.
oh yeah, yeah. The thing is you can go in there and get those sliced foods, or you can just come out there with a fucking entire melon or two. You just have to go to the right places and look around a bit. It's not all completely fucking pre-made or pre-prepared. It's like
Thank you, Cryptic. He donated.
if you go to a market, yeah, that's all just fresh food. You can go to a butcher's, that's fresh meat right there.
Yeah. See, that's the stuff that like I find is missing where I am. And I mean, some of that was pre-designed. Like, I mean, we do have a lot of franchise grocery stores. Like Safeway, there's Sobeys, there's Co-op, is the Canadian version of it. There's Walmart. I mean, there's a few mom and pop stores. Like, in my city, it got really popular for a bunch of Italian stores to crop up because everyone went into this like ethnic food stage, which I know you guys got to. And I don't resent it at all because I love food. So I love food that comes from anywhere. I just like knowing what it is that I'm eating. Like, that's my rule of thumb, is I will try anything once as long as I know what it is. And I will judge whether or not I want to eat it again. And it's no shade to the cook. It's just,
It's
nah,
preference.
you know. but it's just I like to know what it is that I'm eating, and it's one of those things where I don't know enough people right now. I knew a bunch of Filipinos and they're great, but I don't know enough of them now, and I'm not going to ask them to go grocery shopping with me so they could tell me what this and this is and how can I use it, because I live in an era where if I do that, I'm a racist.
I think the thing with food in me is if it doesn't kill me and
Mhm.
hasn't got a weird texture,
Yeah,
put it in my mouth.
yeah. Actually, my convenience store clerks are great. Like they're a full Filipino family, and they brought in some of their Filipino snacks, and I started talking to them about Jollibee because we got a Jollibee, and it's one of those things that I know is one of their fast food chains, and they like talking about things that you're aware of because it shows that you actually care about them a little bit. And it's one of those things where like, I'm not meaning to rain on the SJWs, but the extreme ones that like create that conflict with the other cultures that live in my country. Um, that's actually how
Too
you get
late,
to know.
dog.
That's how you get to know
The
people.
joke was
You know
made.
that's how you discover whether or not you like people is what they talk about. When they talk about home. And I like a lot of Filipino food. Not gonna lie, I have no problems with them building their own food here and starting businesses. I just like to know what it is that I'm eating, and they like to troll me about offering me balut all the time. Do you know what balut is?
Isn't that like river dolphin? No, that's
No,
not river dolphin.
no. It's a boiled duck egg that's
I
been
knew it was
fertilized.
something like it.
It's usually got a duck, like a duck chick, that's starting to form in it. It's not fully formed, like it's still got egg to it too, but it's they think of it as like a hot dog, like it's something they would get before they would go to an event or if they're having parties or things like that. It's like a moose is what they describe it as, and I'm like I probably could eat it if I didn't look at it, and as long as I don't see bones. Uh, but it's one of those things where it's just like I didn't grow up that way. I didn't grow up with that as like something to eat. So it's being open to something that I wouldn't normally try. And I'm not saying that I would like it, but I would try it and be open minded about it. And just
Well, at least you'll be open to the idea of eating a near enough chick. At that point,
Well,
I'm like, nope.
I
No.
wouldn't look at it though. I would have my eyes closed. I'd be like, I'm holding this thing and my eyes are closed and I will try it. But then after that, I'm not sure how I would think about it. But it's just getting my mind out of that. Nope.
Look,
I
I'll eat egg and I'll eat chicken, but if it's chick, no. You know what? And part of it is me also thinking, yeah, like, oh, for fuck's sake, Shugoref, that pun.
cryptic. Filipinos are discount Asians. They're nice people though. I mean, I for the most part I've met really nice people, and they're a mixed bunch. Like there's some that like I think are buying into the whole racism is everything and everywhere bullshit.
That's cool with everything now,
uh,
you know? I don't think.
It's not. Most of them aren't like that. Most of them have come here and they see that we're trying
Yeah.
so hard.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to every community, I think every community has those contingents
Mhm.
of have that contingent of people that will have the social justice ideologies.
Mhm.
Like I think to solely judge a community based on those sort of people would be
It would be.
it
I would never do it.
would
Um,
be it'd be incredibly,
for
harsh
the
and
same reason that
argument.
I won't discount the stories where I don't doubt the odd Filipino in my province probably has faced somebody who was maybe racist. I won't deny that there probably has had that happen. Because
Sorry.
go ahead.
That's why in any and every situation, doubt. Now, when I say doubt, people forget that doubt doesn't necessarily mean that I don't believe you. Doubt means I haven't got enough information
Mhm.
to make a full determination of whether or not I believe you.
Mhm.
You know, doubt is what you give when you haven't got the facts.
Mhm.
So when I say doubt, I mean doubt. I don't mean I don't believe you. I mean doubt.
Yeah.
And I think doubt is sort of the best policy when it comes to almost everything, every claim that's made. You know, that's pretty much how the U.S. justice system works. It's, but it really is. It's the
I'm
whole
not
innocent.
laughing at you. It was Elwin. Elwin told a joke, and it was pretty good. I don't understand why the drunk guy was kicked out of the bar. All he said was, "I'm full of corona." It's not his fault. He also had a cold. Go ahead.
He probably tried to shove the bottle up his ass. Let's be honest here. No, but
I've seen that. But I'm gonna pop off because I want to get some food before joining the blind trucking hangout.
Yeah, I knew it was coming up. I was like, well, we actually went another like almost 30 minutes. So
20 minutes from now we'll be reading, or Blind Girl will be reading news.
And you know what? I don't doubt this stuff is going to come up again, because I don't doubt she's going to follow along the same stuff. And that's kind of why I don't mind joining, because she'll actually have the articles. I didn't want to look, like I said, I didn't want to look at them because I did want to keep this fun, because I don't want to be bitter right now. I want to be strong and I want to be positive, because being angry and bitter isn't going to fix the problem. It's just going to make me angry and frustrated. And honestly, I'm doing okay. While I'm okay, I don't want to complain. But I'm also very grateful today because, I had you guys join me, and I have everyone in the chat who joined me. And thank you again, Cryptic, for your help. I will definitely get potatoes and some sausages and vegetables and a little dessert. And I appreciate your help. But thank you guys all for joining me. And I will be back again. I don't know, sometime this week. And I'm going to pick on anybody who's available, because that's what I do. But everyone go and flood Blind Girl's show in about, what is it?
about 20 minutes?
20, 15, somewhere in there.
Yeah, something in there. And we'll go flood her chat and be like, Jared says rawr, in an obnoxious tone.
Also, I've just realized something about Shiogorath. He's an edgier version of Peter Almond.
He sure is.
He is full. He makes really fucking annoying puns. It's just that Shiogorath has that added edge to it.
Right off the bat.
All right. Yeah, Duck Dog says, you just made so many sexual innuendos possible.
I do that, and I don't know why or how, but it just happens. So I'm going with that as just Jen's secret skill that she's never known she had.
On streams, I have been more cautious about the words I say, and no, Duck Dog, that example a few minutes ago, I intentionally fucking said that because I knew that you were going to joke about it.
I never pay attention to the words that come out of my mouth.
I've been more concerned because I know it's going to be turned into a joke. I just fucking know it. It's the matter of when rather than if.
Well, it's kind of one of those little bonuses about living with my brother, and it's kind of not a bonus at the same time, so another double-edged sword. But when I'm having awkward conversations online and he comes into the room, all of a sudden my language has to completely change, because I'm like, I still want to tell my story, but I don't want to, because he's there, and I know there's things that you should never say in front of your siblings.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. There's always that one fucking story you just never tell anybody.
Yeah, and then there's also, like, he will call me on shit because he's not. He is shocked half the time by the stuff that comes out of my mouth. He's like, "You are way too fucking honest."
They said honesty's the best policy, but apparently telling your mother you just bought a dildo for no reason on eBay is not what you're supposed to do.
What the fuck? Is there a story to that?
No.
Green, you don't use that as an example if there's not a story to that.
I just run words coming out. I don't pay attention to the words that come out of my mouth. But I can
Sheer
actually honestly
Golrath's
say I've
question
never
is
bought a dildo
hopefully
on eBay.
used.
Oh my goodness.
I'm pretty sure there's a policy that specifically indicates that you can't get a dildo from eBay. I could
You
be
can.
wrong. Oh, fair enough.
I've bought
The
sex
fact that
toys
you
from
know
eBay
that.
before.
Okay. Moving on.
Yep. Well, I think we really do have to shut down because we're
Okay,
going to
yeah.
forget again, and then you're not going to have time for food, and Blind Girl will get mad at me, and she's been disappointed in me before, and I don't want her to be disappointed in me again. Makes me feel bad.
Oh well, at
I'm
least
just
you
going to hit
won't
the
fall
explicit
asleep
now.
on
I'll see ya.
stream.
All
Trust
right.
me, you have at least you haven't fallen asleep on the stream. You know.
Yep. No, I have not done that yet, but I have sent
Let's
her pictures of cats before, and that was amusing because she yelled at me on Discord in text, and she was like, "I can't see."
Well, let's just say, Jen, the person that fell asleep on stream woke up to a wall of memes, personally made by me.
Oh, yeah, they like to do that. Anyway, say goodnight to everybody,
Oh,
and bye, everybody.
bye.
I'm actually waving my arm like a doofus.